Hi, everybody. I'm Britttany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Forbes senior contributor, Adam Minsky. Adam, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Britttany.
On Tuesday, the Biden administration launched a new student loan repayment plan called the SAVE Plan, and President Biden himself touted it as the, quote, most affordable student loan plan ever. So first, break this plan down for us. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the SAVE plan is a new income-driven repayment plan program. It's replacing another income-driven repayment plan called the Revised Pay-As-You-Earn Plan, or REPAY. In many respects, this will indeed be the most affordable income-driven repayment plan that's ever been available. It has a number of really beneficial features, including a higher poverty exemption, meaning that borrowers can earn more and still have a $0 payment under the plan. It will have a more favorable formula for many borrowers who have undergraduate student loan debt. It'll have accelerated loan forgiveness timelines for borrowers who have lower initial starting balances. It has an interest subsidy that will end the practice of excess interest accrual and negative amortization, where a borrower's balance increases over time, which has been a hallmark of other IDR plans. And it gives flexibility for married borrowers to exclude their spouse's income by filing taxes separately. So a lot of features that combined will make this a very attractive option for many borrowers.
This must be music to borrowers' ears because it's been a tough summer for borrowers. The payment pause is being lifted. President Biden's initial plan got struck down. But let's break down some of the numbers here. How much debt is being forgiven and how many borrowers does this impact?
Well, so the SAVE plan is not necessarily going to result in any immediate loan forgiveness for borrowers because it in and of itself is just a repayment plan. There is a separate and related program called the IDR account adjustment, which is allowing borrowers to receive retroactive credit toward IDR loan forgiveness, including for periods during which the borrower was not in an IDR plan or was not even in repayment. And that can be really beneficial for a lot of people. As of right now, the Education Department has approved approximately 804,000 borrowers for loan forgiveness under the IDR account adjustment. Total discharges are expected to approach around $39 billion. And just in the last couple of weeks, a lot of borrowers have been seeing their balances zeroed out, which has been really great for those folks who have been repaying their loans for 20 or 25 years or more.
And as we talked about just a few moments ago, President Biden's original sweeping student loan forgiveness plan was struck down in the Supreme Court. So first, how does this SAVE plan stack up to that one, if at all?
Well, so it's very different. So the plan that was struck down by the Supreme Court was a one-time cancellation program that would have just immediately wiped out somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 in federal student loan debt for most borrowers. The SAVE plan is an actual repayment plan where borrowers can work toward eventual loan forgiveness and get their loans forgiven, but you have to make payments based on your income in order to do that. The idea behind the SAVE plan is to make this as painless of a process as possible, with low affordable payments, in some cases $0 payments, and in conjunction with the IDR account adjustment, which can provide borrowers with past credit toward loan forgiveness, it may actually shorten the remaining time that many borrowers have in repayment, make their remaining payments more affordable, and ultimately fast-track loan forgiveness for some folks.
And as an attorney who specializes in student loans, do you see this SAVE plan facing any legal challenges?
As of right now, I'm not aware of any legal challenges. It doesn't mean that's not going to happen. The IDR account adjustment, that related program, was first announced almost a year and a half ago, and it took, basically until just a few weeks ago for a legal challenge to be filed. That was struck down by a federal district court judge in Michigan earlier this month. It's now being appealed to the Sixth Circuit. I suppose it's possible we could see a legal challenge, to try to strike down the SAVE plan, but the administration will probably argue that they're on sound legal footing. They went through the normal regulatory process to draft this program, so we'll have to see what happens.
And as we know, as you and I have discussed at length, President Biden's sweeping student loan forgiveness plan that was struck down by the Supreme Court, that was a huge campaign promise that eventually that was a blow to his presidency. If you were a Biden supporter who did support that, how does this live up to that promise, that SAFE plan? I know you said they're very different.
They're very different. It's not the same thing, and certainly an affordable repayment plan is not the same thing as canceling, tens of billions of dollars in student loan debt. The Biden administration would, likely argue that they've done quite a number of other things to try to, provide mass debt cancellation. That includes the limited PSLF waiver, which has resulted in billions in loan forgiveness for public servants, the IDR account adjustment, which we're in the middle of right now, and there likely will be more borrowers who will qualify for student loan forgiveness under that initiative in the coming months. The administration has also implemented sweeping relief under borrower defense to repayment for borrowers who have been defrauded by their schools. And the administration is also working on a backup plan to try to create a new student loan forgiveness plan that replaces the one that was struck down by the Supreme Court in June. In the meantime, as payments are about to resume, borrowers can now access the SAVE plan, which again will have more affordable payments that allow over 1 million borrowers to have $0 payments because their incomes are low enough to qualify to basically pay nothing. And again, those folks may eventually see loan forgiveness as well. So it's not the same thing, but the administration will likely argue that they're doing, what they can while working to create a replacement plan for the one that was struck down.
And what has the response been that you've seen to this SAFE plan? Is it the typical Republicans might be a little more hesitant to support it versus Democrats who could be excited for student loan relief? What have you seen?
Well, I typically speak to borrowers directly as part of my practice, and borrowers are pretty universally excited about this plan. Obviously, they're not excited about the return to repayment. I think most folks would rather stay in the payment pause and get their loans forgiven. But if you have to return to repayment, this plan has a lot of great features that's going to make repayment a far more manageable undertaking than it might otherwise have been if this plan didn't exist.
And Adam, I love our conversations because every time you leave us with some tangible takeaways. If you're a borrower, leave us with more today. What should you do right this second if you are a borrower?
Well, if you're interested in the SAVE plan, borrowers who have already been enrolled in revised pay-as-you-earn will be automatically transitioned over to the SAVE plan in the coming weeks. Many of those borrowers have already been notified of that change. Other borrowers who aren't in the SAVE plan or the revised pay-as-you-earn plan, you do want to start applying to enroll in that plan. You can do it at studentaid.gov. President Biden says it takes about 10 minutes, which is right. It's a pretty straightforward application process. Another great feature is that you'll be able to opt in to a data sharing initiative between the IRS and the U.S. Department of Education to allow income sharing over time so that borrowers no longer have to affirmatively recertify their income every year. It can be done automatically. So borrowers might want to opt into that to kind of streamline how things go in the future. Obviously, make sure that you have your contact information up to date with studentaid.gov and your loan servicer. Check to see if your loan servicer has changed. Payments are starting up just in a matter of weeks, so make sure that you're ready to go.
Adam Minsky, per usual, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.